Peace, 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 everyone. Uh, peace, peace. Julian Benton, peace. Wayne Babb, peace. Aboriginal Leo, peace. Corey Sly, peace. Alpha All Day, peace. Michi Butterfly, Shay B, Sun God, Monica W, James Williams, American Copper Aborigine, Sun Energy, peace. Eloy, what's going on, brother? Eloy, peace. Ahua, peace. Let's move so fast. Carly Crush, peace. Delash, wait, where we at? Delesha, peace. Almaroy Bell, peace. James Jones, peace. Ewing Lucreta, peace. Edward Pearson, peace. Coin Savings, Candace, and family, peace. What's going on? Jazzy Indigenous, King Lace, Ross Sens, peace. Prosper in the now, peace. Let's see. Okay. All right, so some of y'all not gonna like me after this, but I'm already not liked. I still sleep well at night at times. It doesn't bother me much, none. But we're gonna get into some stuff. Like I said, this channel is mainly about, connecting dots, trying to find the trail of certain things that just don't seem right. You know, sometimes each of us got a piece of the answer. I just like to dig into things and try to make connections. That's what I'm about, trying to make connections. So there's a lot of us out there that loves this Valentine's Day. This V Day. A lot of us that's in love with it. There's nothing wrong with spreading love and having love and giving love to your significant other, family members, friends, whoever. There's nothing wrong with that. Love is a universal language. But again, there's a yin and a yang, or an opposite, a negative and a positive to everything in life, right? So we know there's origins to everything, and there's occult meanings to darn near everything in this reality, right? We got a lot of esoteric meanings behind a lot of things, and there's just some things that's blatant in your face that you just cannot say you didn't see it, but they put it in your face in such a way that sometimes you don't notice it at first glance. When they put it in your face, it's like you don't really see it. But when someone points it out to you specifically, you're like, oh, damn, I didn't even see that. You see what I'm saying? So before I start, let me just say again, everything that I use is on the fair use, for everything is public information. Public information. So everything that I use is on the fair use. This channel is for American Aborigines and those who want to know about American Aborigine history and other things other than American Aborigine history. This channel is for those for communication and to keep in connection with my fellow American Aborigines brothers and sisters all across the world, or indigenous people on a whole all across the world. So again, this is fair use, and I do not give anyone the permission to use my voice in any of their videos. Period. That goes for the dude that's stalking my page. Also, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. Where to start from? Should I start from there? No. Here. All right, we're gonna start from here. So we was already breaking down the occult murders, right? So it's not just Jews that does occult murders, but it just seems like they do it more than anybody else. So we're just going to start off with a recap, for the build up. All right. So let's matter of fact, let's start off here. Where is it? Pictures states that is more than 1,000 words. Like you can't cover this shit up, right? So these are all occult murders of children. Occult. These are Jews murdering a young boy on a cross, right? Occult murders of children. Occult murders of children. And of the woman. There's a reason for the woman. There's a reason. Okay? Because in this life, people think that choices that they make when it comes to even sexuality is their own choice. It's not your choice. It was already made for you and then subliminally programmed within your innermost parts of your brain. That's what it was. Okay? That's what happened. And that's another thing that we're going to get into as well. All right? Again, Jewish murders with its Kabbalistic rituals. Now, we know there is an antichrist to everything. Okay? So these organizations, these Masonic organizations, these holidays are anti-us. Right? It's anti-matriarch and to make the matriarch look bad, but it's also to harvest the purest souls. That's what these are for. Okay? Harvest the purest souls. See, look, they don't hide this stuff from y'all. This is on a building wall. They do not hide this stuff. Look at this. These are Jews again, mutilating another child. They don't hide it. Close-up picture from you. This right here is I think this was a child saint. Now the Catholics, what they do is when a child is murdered or allegedly gotten sick and died of a sickness, right? Which we know that priest poisoned that child. They name that child a saint as a pure form, right? Because a saint is supposed to be pure, purification. You understand? Nothing was wrong with that person, with that deity or that entity. The purest form of a holy person is supposed to be that of a saint, right? I'm gonna get into it. Again, more Jewish ritual murders. And you notice they always use like a they don't really use a knife. They use like a needle type instrument that pierces the child, pokes hold in the child, because what they're doing is they want the blood to rush out, to flow out. So when that blood flows out, they have their bowls ready to collect that blood, right? That blood is also key and important to this. This picture right here is very important because this picture right here, during even the Hitler era, there was a lot of child murders going on. And if you notice these little dots all over this child right here, during the Nazi era, in Germany and in Russia, there's a lot of child murders going on. So if you guys are wondering why Hitler was exiling some of the Jews from out of Germany, because this is what the hell they were doing. This is what they were doing. This was what they were doing. Okay. And then in Russia, you had a serial murderer going around killing children, and the entire community didn't want to do nothing about it because it seemed like the police was protecting that killer. Why? Because that killer was also a Jew as well. Oh goddamn, we're going to get into the Jew lies. We're going to debunk these Jew lies. Okay. Jew lies. No, you lie. All right. So, like I said, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Even some who are not children or whom are adults. You know? Another child again. See? This is why they use it to poke the holes. Again. See the blood? How the blood flows? See them having their bowls? Can't make this shit up. Can't. See, again, them murdering the woman, right? So I'm just going to try to make this quick. And I always say I'm going to make this quick. I'm going to make it quick. And it always end up being long. But this time I'm really going to try to make it quick because, no lie, I'm tired. I'm tired. Also, this might be my last week for a while being on YouTube. I'm going to pay more attention now to my blog as well. And I got to try to get some rest. Can't burn myself out, you know. So I'll put the link to my blog. So if y'all don't see me on here, just go over to the blog and I'll write some blogs. I'll try to make some audio blogs as well for you guys. See, again, look, and they have a cloth strangling, choking this child. And let me point something out to y'all. The mourning mother in the back. But all these who are raping and got the everything ready to take the blood of the child are men. Or men. Or men. Or men. You understand? Men. See, this is move aside matriarch. And here comes the patriarch, the domination of the patriarch system. Okay? And the patriarch system ain't nothing but a barbaric system. That is all it is. And these are the ones that gave you your Quran, your Torah, your Hadith, your Talmud. You understand? These are the ones who gave you these books. These are the men, right? And you also got to put some melanin on them too. Don't think this is just Caucasian folks. You got to put some melanin on them because, of course, you know, they learned it from somewhere. So who did they learn it from? Who are the ones that claim they were the ones that was first there, right? Jews and the African slave trade. Nah, not looking for that. Who are the ones that claim that they were first there and came across the Caucasians and taught them and all these stuff? Folks who call themselves Moors. And this is a fact. They claim that they were everywhere first when they came across the Caucasian. That's a fact. So who did they learn this barbaric stuff from? They didn't learn it from us. They didn't learn it from us over here. You see what I'm saying? Because remember, they taught them the high science. They taught them that. So they say. Right? So let's get into it. I want to play a clip first to show you some connections, right? So these are the child killings, okay? All right. Say how old these are. Look how old these books are that was writing about this. From how long? Look how these books are old. Some of these books date back over 100 years. Yo. All right. Where's that clip? All right, I want to play this clip for you guys first. All right, so this clip is about the origins of Valentine's Day. All right, this is what this clip is about, the origins of Valentine's Day. Take notes, y'all. Take notes. Yeah.
And what could be more innocent than celebrating Valentine's Day? A day of love and appreciation of your spouse, fiancé.
So this is from Cosmo L's channel.
Know you not that behind this seemingly love-filled holiday lies a dark and shameful origin. Valentine's Day has its origin in the ancient pagan Roman holiday known as Lupercalia. Lupercalia is said to have been one of the oldest Roman pagan festivals. It reaches back to the very founding of Rome itself.
You're not late, Angela. You're not late. Peace, Black Conscious for a community.
However,
peace.
It may be related to the Greek honoring of the deity Pan.
Yeah, that is true, Black Conscious.
Lupercalia was on the 15th of February, or between the 13th and 15th. Not unlike modern Valentine's Day.
Selena
Honoring
Brad,
the
peace.
noisy goat-footed deity Pan of the Greek, inventor of the panpipe. He leads the nymphs in dance. He also stirs up panic and is associated with sexuality. The word Lupercalia comes from the Latin root lupus, for wolf, as do many Latin words used for the word brothel. The priest of Lupercalia practiced bloody rituals, including the sacrifice of a dog for purification and 2 male goats for.
All right, so let's break this down. You notice she's pregnant right here too, right? But we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. So the purest, some of the purest things other than the plants on the planet, on our Mother Earth, or animals. Animals come without sin. Okay? Animals come without sin. And if you remember the video I played of the Jews doing their ritual of Yom Kippur, right? Where they were slaughtering those chickens because they believe, right? Crazy mofos. They believe that when they slaughter these chickens, what they're doing is taking all their sins for the year and putting it into those chickens when they're alive, and then they kill those chickens, and that's the death of their sins, and they can start all over back again, going all throughout the year again, committing more sins, right? So what is some of the most purest entities on this planet? The animals. So you're going to take your corruption and force it within these animals, and think when you sacrifice or kill these animals that it's killing your sin. So this is why they sacrifice the animals. Another reason why they also sacrifice the lamb, right, is also, or the lamb or the goat. For those who love their little curry goat and all of that, the goat was really looked upon as something sacred and as a guardian in melanated culture. That's what it was really looked up on, right? Which is why every culture all over the world have a ram's horn, or a ram's horn, because male goat is a ram or whatever. A ram's horn. Why every culture have a ram's horn, and they always blow that ram's horn. Even in Jamaica back in the days when you was walking through the mountains, and you get lost within the trees, within all that forestry, right? And you couldn't find your way back. All you had to do was blow that ram's horn, and people will know where to come and find you at. Okay? So again, I'm showing you also the Antichrist into these things. Everything that we are righteous of, they are not. They turn into something evil. Okay? Over here in the Western Hemisphere, in the Americas, we were, and still are for the most part, really, about the matriarch. We were about protecting our women. We were about honoring our women. We were about empowering our women, because we understood that she is the core source of why we are here. Okay? The male fertilizes the egg, the seed, okay? Because the egg is the seed. A liquid cannot be a seed. So the egg is a solid mass, is a mass of cells combined together to create one entity, which we call an egg, a seed. Okay? So when that sperm cell, that liquid sperm, fertilizes that seed, it is up to now the womb of the woman to nurture it, care it, grow it, mold it, and shape it within her womb. It is up to her whether she wants to live or die. Okay? And that's a fact. All right? So now let's get to it. You know what? Let me play it back for those who missed it, and then we'll continue on. All right? Let's start back from here.
And what could be more innocent than celebrating Valentine's Day? A day of love and appreciation of your spouse, fiance, or someone you secretly admire. Know you not that behind this seemingly love-filled holiday lies a dark and shameful origin. Valentine's Day has its origin in the ancient pagan Roman holiday known as Lupercalia. Lupercalia is said to have been one of the oldest Roman pagan festivals. It reaches back to the very founding of Rome itself in 753 BC. However, it may be related to the Greek honoring of the deity Pan.
All right, remember I'll be telling y'all about Pan, right? The Masonic goat god. He's the original form of which we now call the Baphomet, right? So keep this mofo right here in mind. All right, keep him in mind.
Lupercalia was on the 15th of February, or between the 3rd.
Let me show y'all something else too, because there's a lot of stuff in this little short clip. Even though he's sacrificing this ram, you notice he's sucking on the titty of the ram. That's bestiality also that they're pushing. That's bestiality that they're pushing, right? And notice again that blood. Keep in mind that blood.
Of February, or between the 13th and 15th. Not unlike modern.
Let me bring it back a little bit.
It's on the 15th of February, or between the 13th and 15th. Not unlike modern Valentine's Day. Honoring the noisy goat-footed deity Pan of the Greek, inventor of the panpipe. He leads the nymphs in dance. He also stirs up panic and is associated with sexuality. The word Lupercalia comes from the Latin root lupus, or wolf, as do many Latin words used for the word brothel. The priest of Lupercalia practiced bloody rituals, including the sacrifice of a dog for purification and 2 male goats for fertility. The hides of the goats were cut into strips and dipped into the blood of the animal. In the streets of Rome, young girls were lined up and whipped with the hide in order to grab.
All right, so what part of this video will tell you that is those females had to submit their names into a drawing, right? And notice the word submit, because now it means that they're giving up some form of power to, you know, those who are about to abuse them right now. You see what I'm saying? They had to succumb to them, right? So when they put their name into that bowl for the drawing, these men will go and they'll pull a name, and they'll pull the name of these females. Now, they just sacrifice these animals, which are all male, right? They sacrifice all the male goats because they're not going to sacrifice a male grown man of their own, right? Also as well. So they're going to sacrifice the male goats, and they're going to use this to whip these females. This is what you are. This is what you are seeing as the conquering of the matriarch. All right. For those of y'all who love Valentine's Day, so this is what you see. That is the conquering of the matriarch. So they're whipping them into shape to conquer them, and they're going to submit also to these men, right? Now, with that being said, after that's done, then you know you're going to have like your maiden, which will bring forth a child, fertility, right? Because females at this time of the year, some of these females throughout this time of Valentine's Day, they're not on their cycle, let's say, so they're fertile. They're, for the, so all right, let's go.
Greater fertility. This ritual is preserved in the modern day Easter morning whipping. Lupercalia was so named after the sacred cave of Lupercal. According to Roman legend, a she-wolf nursed the twins Romulus and Remus, who are attributed with the founding of the Roman Empire. The cave became a site of a yearly ritual involving merrymaking, sacrifice, and sexual fertility rituals, in which the young men and women placed their names in a jar. The young men drew the names to obtain a sexual partner for the rest of the festival, which is represented today by a Valentine's Day lottery. After Christianity was adopted as the official Roman religion, this holiday was superimposed upon the St. Valentine's Day celebration. Romulus and Remus were said.
Okay, let me pause it right there, because y'all notice now every picture you're gonna see again. Never mind the men looking like they submitting. You're seeing more so. It's more so about the female. See, she's directly in front of the priest. You understand? So she's giving it. She's submitting to that patriarch. You see the child right here as well. These are what we have to pay attention to. Okay. Now let's go into something else right here. Give me a quick second. Let me handle something real quick. All right. So we're gonna go here. Yeah, buddy. This is from Catholic Online. Again, this is fair use because I know you Catholics out there going to try to get at this. So again, this is fair use. All right. If you didn't want your business known, should have never made it public information. It's public. You put it out there. I'm just here to critique what I'm looking at and give my opinion of what I'm looking at. All right. I'll tear this apart. Let's go. And they pretty this up to make it seem like it's something beautiful, right? To make it seem like these monks and priests were pure-hearted, but they're not. And again, a picture says 1,000 words. So let's go. All right. I'm not gonna try to keep y'all long. Just want to make some quick points.
Saint Anthony was born 1195 and died 1231.
See this?
His feast day is June 13th.
Every picture you're gonna see him with a child. You see this?
And he was canonized by Pope Gregory IX in 1232. Saint Anthony was born Fernando Martins in Lisbon, Portugal, and knew at a young age that he was meant to live his life in accordance to God.
Let's hold it right there. All right, so we know this circle right here represents the sun, right? We know the sun is the female. The sun is that feminine energy, that feminine energy. That is the sun, all right? And for folks who don't believe me that the sun is a female and that it is feminine, all you got to do is go back into the etymology of what the word sun means, and it will tell you that it means feminine. Go into your etymology dictionary. It will tell you sun means feminine. Yeah, he loves the kids. He sure do, right? So again, like I said, this thing is about also the submitting of the matriarch. So this sun symbol, see, we had it wrong for all this time when we always saw the sun behind Jesus. We was like, well, that's just because that represents the sun, right? That means that Jesus is the son. And it's not the S-O-N, it's the S-U-N. No, it means that the mother is always there with her son, right? His mother. Okay, the S-U-N is mother, feminine. Okay. So who is Mary? But that's something else. That's something else for another time. But this sun represents the female. So everything that was shown before I played this video was showing also the submissiveness, the conquering of that matriarch energy, that matriarch power. Okay?
God's will. When he was 15, he asked to be sent to the Abbey of Santa Cruz in Coimbra, where he learned.
Again, let me show y'all something else again. You see how they have the light shining down? That light also shining down represents that sunlight shining down on him. That sunlight. So what you're seeing is representation. This is the esoteric now. What you're looking at, right? The deeper meaning: father, mother, which is the sun, child. Okay, father, the sun, the sunlight, mother, and child. All right. Well, we're gonna get into these symbols in another video. This Knights of the Templar cross right here. So they swear they slick. Let's go.
Theology and Latin. He was eventually ordained into the priesthood and was named guest master. But when Franciscan friars settled a small hermitage outside Coimbra dedicated to St. Anthony of Egypt, he knew he had to join. Fernando received permission to leave the abbey and join the Franciscan order, and it was then that he chose to change his name to Anthony. When he tried to travel to Morocco, he became extremely ill and attempted to return to Portugal to recover, but the returning ship was blown off course and arrived in Sicily instead. The ship's party traveled to Tuscany, and Anthony was assigned to the Hermitage of San Paolo afterward. As he recovered, Anthony spent much of his time praying and studying. He was an eloquent speaker and a good teacher. He kept a book of psalms that held several notes and comments to.
What does this look like he's about to do? What does this look like he's about to do? Yo, I'm telling y'all, man. And let's go back real quick to something else. Let me show y'all again something else again. We have to watch the symbol. See that sun? Look at that. See that sun? That sun. Boom. The mother. The mother. They do it in the eyes of the mother. They're not teasing, disrespecting the matriarch. You understand?
His time praying
so
and studying.
Father, son, mother.
He was an eloquent
mother,
speaker
father, son.
and a good teacher. He kept a book of psalms that held several notes and comments to help him teach, and he greatly valued it.
Again, look at this. Doesn't this remind you of a certain Valentine's Day little baby? Huh? Right here? Just saying. And where's he supposedly is reaching down from? Supposedly the heavens, right? And notice they have like the little white outlining right here that could also depict or resemble a formation of also wings coming out the clouds as well. And notice the two fingers right here and the other two fingers bent for as above, so below. Okay, notice that right there. There's a lot in these pictures that people don't be noticing. You know what I mean? His little bald head is supposed to also represent that halo. Again, sun.
One novice decided to leave the hermitage and stole Anthony's book on his way out. When Anthony discovered it was missing, he prayed it would either be found or returned. God heard his prayer, and the thief not only returned the book, he also returned to the order. Anthony was only 36 years old when he died, and was canonized less than one.
Again, the matriarch on her knees with her child in front of this man, giving out, what did Jesus give out? Loaves of bread? Yo, tell y'all need to understand what Valentine's Day and all these holidays are really about. I think y'all know. It's anti-pureness. All these holidays are anti-pureness and anti-matriarch. And it's all about making the matriarch look bad. And I have to start understanding that. All right? And the purest thing on earth is nature and children.
A year later, 336 years after his death, St. Anthony.
Oh, let me point out something to y'all too in this picture.
St. 1 year later.
What's that? Look at her skin complexion. Look at her. Huh? Okay. I'm telling you, like, they throw it in your face and they just do it so subtle. You won't even notice this sister right here. You don't even notice her. Because again, they have to give homage to the original. Let's go.
336 years after his death, St. Anthony's body was discovered to be completely corrupt, except for his tongue, which was used to deliver eloquent homilies and perfect teaching.
They saved his tongue. Everything else of his body that was already withered away going. One thing that was left that was still really showing off him was his tongue. And they took his tongue out and they saved it and put it in a time jar. And these pillars also around this jar also represent something. They saved his tongue. To show you how sick these people are.
St. Anthony is typically depicted holding the infant Christ and a book. He is also commonly referred to as the finder of lost articles. To learn more about St. Anthony, visit Catholic.org. And if St. Anthony inspires you or someone you know, shop for their items by clicking on the CatholicShopping.com link below for a one-of-a-kind shopping experience.
Okay. As far as that. Done with that right there. Now let's get back to this.
To be twin offsprings of the so-called god Mars, who raped a virgin priestess, Rhea Silvia.
You see, as soon as I started back, we're going to get into it. So Mars, right, raped a virgin priestess. Again, conquering of the matriarch.
Silvia was eventually imprisoned and the twins ordered to be killed. However,
so she was raped and she was imprisoned. Does this sound familiar to you? Like the young girl that killed her her captor, that imprisoned her and had her as a sex puppet, that 15-year-old girl, where he was raping her. Many men would come into the house and rape her because they held her captive, and she finally killed the guy and escaped, and they sentenced her to life. Huh? That young sister. Huh? Chief Holiday, peace, brother. Harmony, peace, and love. Peace, sister. Like, yo, let's get to it. Y'all want to celebrate Valentine's Day? Let's go.
A servant woman set them adrift on the Tiber River instead, where they banked in a shallow pool. Thereafter, a she-wolf who had lost her cubs suckled them until they were rescued and raised by foster parents.
Bestiality.
In those times, the Latin word for she-wolf was also slang or prostitute.
Did y'all hear that? The Latin word for she-wolf was slang for prostitute. Did y'all hear that? All right, let's go. Let's go. Again, disrespecting of the matriarch. All right. This is what these holidays are really about, folks. It's about violating the matriarch, showing the dominance of the patriarch, and painting the female and the child in a certain negative light. And it's about violating that everything that is pure. Animals are nature. Nature is pure. You cannot. The only thing that can corrupt nature is when man goes into nature and destroy nature. Then nature has become corrupted by man. All right. If man leaves nature alone, nature is at its purest form. Nature is not corrupted. So everything that is pure, these people are out to destroy. Eternal bliss, peace. These people are out to destroy. The purest thing, again, are children. Children are the purest thing. Also, other than nature. All right. And where does babies come out of? They come out the womb of the matriarch. Just saying. Let's go.
Referring to their mother, Rhea, meaning guilty, and Silvia, meaning...
Again, you see that young child right here? It look like this is a wing coming out of right here as well. See how they subliminally put these things here? The child is butt naked. You see that? Perversion. What the child did, perversion. I want to celebrate Valentine's Day.
Meaning forest. Translating into guilty woman of the forest, the woman who seduces.
All right, so it's just so many things here. That's why I keep stopping it, because every time I touch on a point, they prove my point, right? So I just said that nature is one of the purest things, right? So their job is here to sully the image of the matriarch, the history of the matriarch, right? And to harvest that which is the purest form of life on this planet. So you see what they just said? They just call her guilty of nature. I totally forgot. Hold on. Let's play it back a little.
Forest.
Guilty lady of the forest.
Guilty woman of the forest.
Bong.
The woman
who
seduced.
Right there, disrespecting the woman and nature. Okay? Because out of the woman comes the purest form of life, which is a child.
Or has been seduced there. Romulus and Remus are attributed with the founding of Rome. Thus, when one celebrates Valentine's Day in modern times, they are actually honoring the founding of Rome and the pagan, Roman, and Greek false deities, Mars and Pan, alongside the economic exploitation of the divine principle
Speaking of Pan, because let's make these connections. Because it's not just Valentine's Day alone, right? Because a lot of y'all flocked to go see this movie, and this movie was a straight spit in our faces. But we're just going to touch on a small part right now about this character. All right. Krampus. Krampus is also another version of Pan, the goat-headed Masonic deity. All right, and Krampus again. What's that in his basket? Children, the purest form. Children, hmm? Those whom are without sin, because you are not born of sin. You didn't born with sin in you, for you're a child. A child is pure. Okay, so a child cannot sin. Right? So this is Krampus. And who does Krampus work with? The Catholic Church. Your priest, again. Or this right here is also your deacon, your pope. Hmm? Who does Pan work with? The same figure. And who are these two male figures who have put their corruption into not only nature but the matriarch into the matriarch also herself. Okay, this is why they say, ladies, and I don't want this to seem like fellas like this is a bashing fellows thing. All right, it's not. This is just breaking down these deities and that these occult societies really are built off of a pedophile and a homosexual foundation. And we're going to also get into that because again, when people say, "Oh, I was born gay," no, you were made gay from when you were within the womb, even before you were within the womb, and these people figured out the science of how to do so. All right, they figured out the science of how to do so. So it wasn't your choice. And we are talking about those who are of the bloodline of the Western Hemisphere here, because we know, right? Over there in the Eastern Hemisphere, even those Mongols, they were flaming with pedophilia and all sorts of other same-sex content. When they came here, they did not see that here. And this is what folks have to understand. Because I noticed that, and this is not to bash anyone that's homosexual. You can't help or change what it is that you are. You understand? The only thing you can do is embrace it. That's on you if you want to do that. You understand? That's on you. All right. At the end of the day, life goes on. But when they came over, so I see folks putting up pictures of what they call Native Americans in same-sex relationships. What they're not pointing out is that the original Mongols that came over here first were melanated people. So what they're showing are the Mongols that came over here that we went to war with. So when they're showing sacrifices on the Aztec altars, it's not really sacrifices because we were offering them. That's what we were doing. Okay. And some of them intermixed within the bloodline. So you inherit the genetics of your mother or your father, both, and your father. So if your father was a pedo or your father had homosexual tendencies, chances are either you're going to inherit that tendency or it's going to skip a few generations and someone down in your family is going to inherit it. All right. Yeah, just look, all y'all got to do is just go do the research and go, connect the dots. But back to this. So this is Krampus. Again, you notice that red. This red represents the blood. And again, look, that gold is like a circle over here. See that? That also represents the sun. That represents the matriarch. They don't leave her out. She's everywhere, people. She's everywhere. So you see those comedic people telling you this is Ra. This is Haru. No, it's not. This is the mother. The mother's son. The mother's always there. You understand? And what they're doing is they're mocking. They're making a mockery of mama. That is what they're doing. They're harvesting mama's energy to do pure evil up on this planet, in this realm right here. Okay? Remember, they called the Mayans and the Aztecs what? sun gods and sun worshippers. That's what they called them. And they told you folks who were into religion, oh, they're worshiping the sun. That's some evil thing, and so on and so on and so. But no, they understood the sun was mama, was mother. They understood that. All right. So Krampus, child sacrifice also. Look at this. Krampus, stuffing the baby in the basket. You understand? Boom. And look at it push also even. They're letting you know the origins of where they learned this from. That's why Krampus is dark, people. The origins of where they learned some of this stuff from. That's why Krampus is dark. All right. See, at one point when you look at this, you'll be like, well, you know what? No, this is racism. They're saying dark, but no, they're not speaking of, you see, this is not about us here in the Western Hemisphere. These are those brothers over there in the Eastern Hemisphere, in what they call Europe, Africa, India, so on and so on and so. This is who they're speaking of, because these things are still carried out rampant out there, even in the darkest part of the lands out there, of the brotherism that's out there, rampant. Okay, so when the Europeans came over here, they lumped us all in one category, because this is why they use the word more everywhere they went. They call every dark-skinned person more, hey, more, but more also went for them too as well. So the ignorance of men, right? Again, Krampus and the red. You never see the red being left out. Child in the bag. Let's get back to the vid. Is this the vid? No, that's not it. This one. I'm done with this. Let's get back to it.
Love.
I think this is the end of the vid.
So spread love every day of the year, and be not seduced and enticed by the bloody pagan rituals represented in modern times as Valentines.
All right. So let's get back to this one right here again. This is about the ritual murders, right? So we're going to get back a little bit into this, because we got to connect these things now. Got to connect these things, right? Let's go. I'm coming to my ending, people. I'm coming to, well, not my ending, but the end of this.
Throughout time. Understandably, since it's not an everyday topic, many people are highly skeptical of this bizarre accusation that has burdened the Jewish people for at least 2,000 years. After all, why would fanatical Jews in the past, and perhaps even to this very day, commit human sacrifice? Many
so
people
this footage is
like
from
to even think about the topic,
Tyro Theos
believing it
Pene
to be
Truth
just pure,
channel.
unadulterated anti-Jewish propaganda. And likewise, the Jews themselves are quick to say that such claims are lies, which have been handed down through the centuries. However, there are two sides to this issue.
Now let's point out something again. Remember, earlier I said what they used to kill these children is something like a needle, or something that they poke holes into them, which are these spikes that they're showing here. And you see the holes poked all over, the holes poked all over on the body. And it's not that they poke any parts of the body. They strategically poke these holes in the same areas of the body where they know that blood flow is going to just gush out and rush out, so they could drain you fully of your blood. And in the meantime, while they're doing this, that child is not deceased. That child is still alive. And the reason why that child has to stay alive is like when you get a cut, right? You see your blood, but when you start moving around, or you start getting real energized and that adrenaline starts rushing, your blood rushes out faster. It's like when you're in a fight and you got a cut, right? And you're still moving, you're still physical, you're still active, your heart is still beating, and the faster your heart beats, the more the blood rushes out. That's why they keep this child alive, so the child could see the horrific act that's about to happen to him or her. And when they see that, the heart, boom, 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 the heart goes from boom, boom to boom, 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 boom. And when that happens, that blood rushes out, and it's like a fountain, right? So this is the fountain of youth that they be speaking of. Why is it the fountain of youth? Because a child is the youth. Okay? A child is the youth. And when that blood rushes out, it rushes out like in a fountain manner. Okay? Let's go. So we just solved the mystery of the fountain of youth right here as well. I'm telling you, these people are sick.
One side believes Jewish ritual murder is not merely anti-Jewish propaganda, but a fact. One that has had a terrible impact on society since it began.
Let's go back. Let's show y'all something too. Let's show y'all something.
To this issue, one side believes Jewish ritual.
You see the blood trails right here. You saw, look, rays of the sun, rays of the sun, rays of the sun, rays of the sun. Symbolically, the mother is there. Symbolically, the mother is there. Symbolically, right? Let's keep going.
Murder is not merely anti-Jewish propaganda, but a fact. One that has had a terrible impact on society since it began. Perhaps.
Look, again, the child again. Yes, and there are females in on it too, you know. And these are your Eastern stars. That's in on it. Okay. And again, see them with their needles right here. See with the spike right there. Mm-hmm. See they poking the child again with them needles, keeping the child alive. See, they use this to strangle the child, but they're not killing the child, so that blood could flush out, and boom, it flushes out like a fountain right into that cup. Thus the cup overfloweth. That cup runneth over. Okay.
Some viewers may doubt what is uncovered in this video, but an honest glimpse into this matter may make you think. Likewise, an in-depth and fair examination will make most skeptics into true believers. It is true that many of the people who conducted research into these matters were branded by...
See, again, they always choke the child. They need that blood to rush out, that heart to boom, 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 boom. So that blood flows out, boom, and it flows out, right? This is also your spirit, part of your spirit cooking as well. You know, your spirit trapping as well. All right, but that's also another thing.
Jews with the
y'all like Valentine's Day? Here goes your Valentine's Day.
It seems is used by Jews to stifle discussion on any topic that criticizes them. Certainly, however, if someone who is branded an anti-Semite by Jews says the sky appears blue on a sunny day, is it any less blue just because the so-called anti-Semite said it was?
That word anti-Semite, the Israel Prime Minister used that a lot last year and the year before last, every time someone accused Israel of something. And that's what they call you when they want to deflect the attention away from them. They make it look like it's not them, it's you, because you're an anti-Semite. And that's, again, because religious people, for the most part, are ignorant. If you are accusing one of their own of something, they're not trying to hear it. They're not trying to look into it or investigate it, because that one of their own could just say, well, the Lord said, and they'll run with it and take it. And that's that. You understand? Well, Yah said, and they'll run with it and take it. Well, Allah said, and they'll run with it and take it. And they'll look at you, because you're an outsider, as now you bugging. That's also what you call a cult. All right. If it doesn't say in their book that they should be punished, even though it does say in their book also, they still ignore those parts of their own books. Hypocrites are they.
This is usually the case with respect to these matters. While some people who investigated these matters were really anti-Semites, it was the fact that human sacrifice was practiced by Jews that caused many of these people to become anti-Semites. After uncovering the secret among the Jewish cult in times past, how could a Gentile feel otherwise? After all, it is not.
Remember I said the fountain of youth? Let me show y'all something, because y'all That's right, Terrell. Bloody Valentine. And about to break it down too. Again, this is how many of y'all always see that young boy in that statue of like a young boy, naked boy with the wings, right? Like the Cupid in that fountain, and the water is just rushing up out of his mouth, right? That statue fountain that you see in a lot of parks and stuff. Look, this is what this is. Look. And these are the bodies, they blurred it, right? And I understand why they blurred it because it's graphic. I should have said it even in the beginning before I ever started. If you have children, you don't want them to see this, but you also want them to see because you want them to learn and know who to stay the hell away from in this society. All right, and know who to stay away from. To be honest, so look at how they have the child pose, right? So they're already strangling the child here, but look at the arm, how it's stretched out. So I think this is the other arm right here, how it's stretched out, and how the leg is stretched forward, right? Just like how that statue poses in that fountain, right? And these are also the bodies of also the other dead children. Again, the fountain of youth, the fountain of youth. Okay,
The
let's
anti-Semite
go.
who commits the foul act of human sacrifice, now commonly referred to as Jewish ritual murder. Yet Jews sought to make the Gentiles who reported these crimes appear worse than the Jews who committed them. Most historians know and admit that human sacrifice has occurred in the past amongst various sects. The Aztecs' bloodstained temples attest to this.
Yeah, all right. So I knew they was going to do that. They always try to do that to try to sully us over here. But no, the Aztecs' temples are bloodstained because, again, of those Mongols that was invading over here and they were slaughtering them. So the ones that they captured in the temples, they brought them on the top of the altar and they cut their asses open and took their heart out. If you wasn't invading over here, they would have never did that to you. And the Aztec Empire is one of the most destroyed and defaced empire ever, because that's the empire of who they call Negroes, right? And no, we're not referring to as Moors. We know they call our people and people that look like us all over the world Negroes, right? So when anyone who invaded over here, this landmass, and they came across the Aztecs will rip them apart, plain and simple. All right. So when they're trying to include us over here into this bowl, no. So when you look down into the history of why the Aztecs was doing these things, you'll see that these folks were invaders. That's why the Aztec was doing that. You have no pureness of heart, so you don't deserve your heart.
Many innocents met their fate that way, with their hearts plucked from their bodies. The practice called sati in India, where women would sacrifice themselves in flames, is still practiced today in obscure parts where some of India's 1 billion, mostly Hindus, live. In Mexico, even just a few years ago, a strange cult was uncovered that had sacrificed many people, including American college student Mark Kilroy. The same is true of Africa and various parts of South America today. If you merely...
Again, so these people who are here in the Americas doing these sacrifices, these are not our people. These are of a colonizing culture that they brought here from over there. You understand? And this is what this is. So when we are looking into this history, we have to be able to tell, history's deep. So, even like me, I used to look at pictures of, the Mayans and the Aztecs cutting people open on top of the pyramids also. You know what I mean? I used to be like, damn, that's what they've been doing? Damn. But when you look into the history, you realize they were doing that to invaders. And it wasn't invaders of their own people or people of this land. It was invaders of those who came from faraway lands. That's it. All you gotta do is just do the research and look into it. And when y'all don't surface dig, just dig deep into it.
On the internet, you realize that, yes, there are some groups who still engage in barbaric practices such as human sacrifice. So, what are the facts about the Jews? Have they also engaged in such terrible acts in the past? And could there be some primitive sect amongst Jews, extremists no doubt, who to this very day still commit the wicked crime of ritual murder? Most Jews, if asked about ritual murder, will vehemently deny any knowledge of it, of course.
Yeah, they always deny everything because they lie. They're one of the world's biggest lies. They deny everything and act like it's just a few of them know, but they all know. You understand? They all know. All right, so let me just start wrapping this up. All right, so we're going to put these things together now. The red represents the blood. It represents all the sacrifices. The golden arrow right here that flows through the heart right here, it represents lust. All right. So that lust also goes back to Pan, the demon god, the Masonic demon god. That's about orgy and perversion, homosexuality, so on and so bestiality, the straight overall lust. They can't control their lust. That is what the golden arrow represents with the pointy tip. All right, flowing through the red. Okay. All of this is about, see this Cupid right here is always a child. Why? Because a child is pure. A child is born without sin. They had to trick you and told you that you were born of sin. So when you come into this world, all the abuse that you get, you be like, well, it's because we sinned and Eve made Adam bite into the apple. You're not knowing that they're literally talking about the genitals, you understand, and the vagina. That's what they're talking about. You see what I'm saying? So again, they murder these children because the blood of a child is the purest form, is untainted. You understand? Especially a child that has no disease, no sickness, no ailments. This is why, again, also when your child is born, they snip that that umbilical cord and take also the placenta, because the placenta have so much nutrients within inside of it that goes to help build the pureness of the child. This is the purest soul. You understand? This is the purest soul. So in their rituals, they need to entrap the purest soul. You understand? They need to harvest the purest energy. The purest energy and the purest soul is nature and children. And where does children come from? The matriarch. So you know a matriarch is going to go all out to protect her child. So when that matriarch goes all out to protect her child, then it makes it difficult for the patriarch to get away with a lot of the things that he wants to get away with, right? So he has to do what? Make that matriarch submit, right? He has to dominate. He has to symbolically kill the matriarch, which is why again you see the colonizers over here trying to kill everything about us over here, trying to take away our identity, trying to take away our lands, because they burning down nature over here at a rapid pace. Because again, when you burn down a tree, you're burning down, you are harvesting the energy of a pure soul. A tree is a living thing. Nature is pure. Animals commit no sins because they have done what they were designed to do to the fullest. Man went into the realm of the animals and corrupted that realm and corrupted animals. Man started taking dogs and putting them into dog fighting rings, roosters into rooster fighting rings. Man went into nature and shot down animals for game and stunt. Man did that. Man polluted the waters of the aquatic life. Man polluted the soil of the land creatures. Man did that. Okay. So this is what all these holidays are about. They're all based on the core foundation of the child. You understand? Easter. It's all about fertility as well. Easter, right? With Ishtar. And that's another one that we're going to get into, because Ishtar is also the story. You hear King Drop speak of the dragons. Ishtar is also the story of also the dragons. They drop so many subtle hints into these things of the dragon eggs as well into these things. All right. And when I talk about with the bunnies and stuff, it's a little thing that they dropped into the story of Ishtar that people didn't even recognize. You see what I'm saying? But again, this is what these holidays are about. And that's why in majority of these holidays, you always see red. And, Halloween is mostly children that parents want to dress up their children in these costumes and stuff, don't know what they're dressing them in. Folks running around dressing like Harley Quinn and not knowing that Harley Quinn is a symbol of the Masonic order, the royal jester. And the royal jester is linked back to nothing but pedophilia, organ harvesting, and sex trafficking, which goes back to Valentine's Day, which is originally on the 15th and not the 14th. Okay. So, I just wanted to take some time out to put that together for you guys so that you guys could really see, understand, and overstand, a lot of these things that's happening in front of your faces so that you know exactly, what's going on and what you're really putting in your $1.75 trillion a year they say our people spend in these economy, 500 billion in just the holidays alone, or what you're really putting your money towards. And then when they get that money, you know what they do with it? They use it to harvest more of your children. More of your children. So you're paying them to do the atrocious acts that they're doing. Okay? So, think about that. See, I could connect so many dots right here, right now, but I'm tired. But I just wanted to put that together. I thought I bet you folks thought I was going to just do the usual. Well, Valentine's Day is about. Nah, buddy. This was an article. Also, is it this? Where is it? This was an article also breaking down some of Valentine's Day as well. And again, you see that wheel? That wheel that represents the sun. You see that represents the sun, and in it, what they have right here on this wheel, the egg, right, for fertility, right, and then you have nature. Everything else is nature. Nature. You see that? Nature. What's it says? The Romans celebrated a pagan holiday on February 14th to honor Juno Fructifer, queen of the Roman gods and goddesses, as well as goddess of marriage. In one ritual, women would submit their names to a common box, and men would each draw one out. See, again, women would submit. And notice they always like to say these rituals start with the female, right? And they always put the goddess and goddesses, and so on and so. Again, damaging of the image of the matriarch, right? These two would be a couple for the duration of the festival and at times the entire following year. So they'll carry this on even for the whole year out, right? Both rituals were designed to promote not only fertility, but also generally. Okay, it stops there. And then it continues here. February 15th and Feast of Lupercalia. On February 15th, Romans celebrated Lupercalia, which is the original day for Valentine's Day. The original, right, for Valentine's Day. Honoring Fanus, god of fertility. Again, another god of fertility, right? God of fertility. Men would go to a grotto dedicated to Lupercal, the wolf god, right? And they call the wolf god I forgot, but it's dedicated to a prostitute, right? Located at the foot of Palatine Hill, and where Romans believe that the founders of Rome, Romulus and Remus, were suckled by the she-wolf, which we went over this earlier, right? The men would sacrifice a goat, don its skin, all right, and then make the hide out into whips, and they'll use the whips to use and whip the females. So that was also their fertility ritual also as well, all right? So like, yo, y'all gotta understand what this is, with Valentine's Day. Wait, hold up. What is this? Another Valentinus was a priest jailed for helping Christians. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. And again, look, they showing the pictures of the man getting ready to whip these females. Can't make this stuff up. All people got to do is really look. And here goes the actual statue of the wolf and the twins. All people have to do, yo, is just dig into your religion and research where the origins of your religions, where did they come from? What was around before religion was around? What was around before your book was around? And here we go, the Cupid, the child, in all red. There we go. All right. Yeah, that's some heavy stuff. I'm not even gonna lie, that's some heavy stuff. But it's you guys just needed to see that. You understand? It's something that you guys needed to see so you guys can know exactly what's going on. Hold up, I see Bible verse. Hold up. As mentioned, the Romans celebrated Lupercalia to honor the hunter god Lupercus, to the Greeks from whom the Romans had copied most of their mythology. So the Romans got most of their mythology from the Greeks. So this says, all right, Lupercus was known as Pan. There we go again. Pan the demon god, right? Matter of fact, we're going to get into something else before we get out of here. Y'all Pan Africans, let's go. As Pan the god, right? Pan is really the demon god of light, right? Yeah, okay. The Phoenicians worship, and they probably call him the god of light because your sperm glows. Your sperm really has like a halogen glow to it. If people didn't know, all right. The Phoenicians worshipped the same deity as Baal, the sun god. And now, remember, the sun is the woman, so now they're sullying the woman, right? The sun god Baal was one of many names or titles for Nimrod. Wow. And mighty hunter, especially of wolves. He was again. Let's get into this. Let's get into the symbolism of this wolf. The wolf originates in the Americas. Okay. So when folks are looking for holy lands and they can't find it in other places, they throw it out in your face, but they put it in such a cryptid format. The wolf, especially the dire wolf. The dire wolf were those old giants, those old giant wolves that was big as a car, even taller than a car, probably like a 4x4, a SUV, a Ford 4x4, right? So that's how big those wolves were. Okay, so when you see these giant dogs today, they're using genetics of the dire wolf, the gene splice with these dogs to make these huge, big ass dogs. That's what they're doing. But the dire wolf is an American, originated in the Americas. It is an American animal, the dire wolf. All right. So this again, not only are they sullying the matriarch, right? When they mention the sun god, right here, because sun means feminine, the woman, and they throwing the wolf in there. The wolf is really that dire wolf. The dire wolf is America, and in the Americas, we're about the matriarch. So they're showing how they came over here and they corrupting us and our society to have the patriarch dominate our matriarchal society. All right. Thus, this is why they push so much feminism also out here. And for females that they call black women, I don't understand why y'all are part of that. Because those same ladies that you are in there with, their husbands and them were torturing your man and you back in the day, taking away jobs from you and your man. And they still get paid more than you. So I don't get that. All right. So anyway, Nimrod, a mighty hunter, especially of wolves. He was also the founder of the first Lord of Babel. Genesis 10 through to 11 define God. Nimrod was the originator of the Babylonian mystery religion, whose mythologies have been copied by the Egyptians. So when I show you Khnum, on the potter's wheel with two young boys, right? They say one is a girl. All right, whatever. With two young children, molding children out of clay. Please. Children are not molded out of clay. Children are molded in the womb of the woman. So why don't you show a woman and the child within the womb? Or a woman with a womb-like structure with the children in there. Then I can understand that, but you're showing a man with the head of a ram molding children. That's pedophilia. That's what that is. Let's see what this Genesis real quick. I want to see what it says. John 10, John. Here we go. They always got to start somewhere. Every time I look into. My Christmas, Easter, Halloween, New Year's. I thought it was going to take me directly to the Genesis 10, 8 to 9. Genesis 10, 10 to 11 to find God. I'm not clicking on so many links. So we're going to look this pan thing. Let me see something first. And let's go here. You mother. Let's go with y'all. Because, yeah, they trying to flag that my video's hard. So the truth hurts. You understand? When people talk and say they stuff, I don't flag y'all stuff down. They flagging my stuff down. Every single video I've dropped, they flagged and put in the yellow. And all my lives, they stopped the views on them. All of them. That's not what I put, but let's see. It's based on the belief that the unity of... No, I don't talk about what it's based on. Let's go. And it wasn't created no damn 1990 neither. 1919. Who convinced the first Pan-African? Let me show you how misleading these bastards are too. Because we're going, you know what? Because they do it to themselves. This had a part about Web Du Bois. Web Du Bois. I ain't trying to read through all of this. I just want something that summarizes this real quick. All right. Because just to show y'all something. Damn, it's like they be knowing about to rip their shit apart. It just said something about, okay. So this this small part right here. However, it was in the 20th century that Pan-Africanism emerged as a distinct political movement initially formed and led by people from the diaspora, people of African heritage. You see how they slipped that in there? African heritage. Get out of here. Living outside of the continent. They're living out. Oh, okay. So they're living outside of the continent, right? The boys who the boys who convened the first Pan-African Congress in 1919. 1919, right? I could tear this whole shit right here apart, but we're going to focus on 1919, right? 1919. Because Pan-Africanism was created in 1962. I'll show you how misleading these bastards are. '20th century to the associated remain to modern Pan-Africanism began around the state of the 20th century. The African Association, later renamed the Pan-African Association, was established around 1897 by Henry Sylvester Williams, organized by the first Pan-African Conference in London in the 1900s. Not true. Let's go. Let's go back to this. See, I don't want to just search into a lot of shit. What the hell? Where is it? I gotta go on my external hard drive because I gotta get my notes. Pan-Africanism, 1955, from Pan-African. 1955, Pan-African, from Pan plus African. And we know what Pan means in Masonry, right? So this is 1955, was the formation of Pan-Africanism, right? And Pan-Africanism, right? Your Pan-Africanist, your Pan-Africanism was created officially in 1962. But I want to dig through all that stuff to show those articles. Now, let's see the whole set. Oh, that's all it's showing. Okay, 1640s in the reference to quality of Latin peculiar to writers from Roman Africa. Roman Africa. We're not Africans, right? Especially church fathers from African plus ism. Ism is also another word. Wait, I'll get into that another time. Right? By 1836 as mode of speech. Peculiar to African Americans from 1957. All right? 1957. So where you get your Pan-Africanism from? How you get this from the 1900s? The early 1900s, 1919. Man, if y'all don't stop. Right? And there's a lot more. So let's break this down. So we know, see, Pan is not, this is so many different words here, right? So you have Pan, and you have your African, and your ism is also another word. That's how they say plus ism. Let me see if they have the meaning of ism in this. If not, you would have to go look up in an Arabic dictionary. But they do have ism. I told you it's a different word. Distinctive doctrine, theory, or practice. 1670s, the suffix ism used as an independent word, chiefly disparagingly related, ismatical by the same path. It is from 1811. Ism, word form and element, making nouns implying a practice, system, doctrine. From French, ism, or directly from Latin, ism. Ismus. Source also of Italian, Spanish, ismo, Dutch, German, ismus, right? So this is supposed to be, well, with no, as they will probably put it, of a Caucasian persuasion, right? That's what ism mean. Let's see something. Let's see something. So we could go down here and dig this whole shit apart. See, 1859, 1896. But let's just stick with this real quick. All right, another time I'll just come and rip this whole shit apart like fully. This is just a bonus I'm trying to do right here. There's a Pan-European lines. They probably took all this shit down because I did a thing on this earlier that went up in the hundreds of thousands, and they have ripped that shit off of YouTube. Pan-European Alliance. Pan-European Alliance movement. Let's see what Wikipedia says. Pan-European Alliance. It was formed in Budapest on a Pan-European political party. No. We got to be careful with the words. I'm looking for exactly Pan-European Alliance or Pan-Europeanism. Did I type it in right? That too, because that was created before Pan-Africanism, right? So Pan-Europeanism, what we were seeing when I was showing those Nazi salutes of the Mexicans and all those other different countries doing the Nazi salute, their presidential presidents and governors and stuff doing it. That's the Pan-European Alliance. When you shake the rabbit hole too much. I got to be able to get back in my other computer. I have all this shit in there. European Alliance. Alliance of Europe of the Nations. No. while it seeks to form pan. They buried this shit. This is what I can't take, yo. They buried it. Let's keep going. Let me see if I find this shit. We'll try to find this shit. European Alliance 1914. It doesn't say pan. Let me see if this is it. History and prior 6 powers were European First Alliance. No. Hold on, y'all. And Europeanism then. Pan-European identity. Pan-European identity is the sense of a personal identification with Europe in a culture, racial to political sense after 1945 accelerating process of Europe integration culminated in the formation of the European Union in 1993. So the founding of it pretty much came in 1945, and this is before Pan-Africanism, right? Pan-Europeanism again here. Let's see what this says. Refers to several, Pan-Europeanism refers to several ideologies, but in general, a nominative belief in some of the European geopolitical, cultural, ethnic, and racial entity. I just want to see the date, the year. They're not going to show it. They're not going to show it. They're not going to show it here. Yeah, see, I've been doing a lot of revamping, but this broke it down right here. So this pan-European Europeanism, right, it came out before Pan-Africanism, right? And we know what this pan means, right? So this pan means, let's go, Lupercus, Pan the demon god, Krampus, right? This pan, right? Perversion, right? The Pied Piper is also another form of pan. Children following behind him, and notice that red, right? And when you see that gold is also symbolism for the sun, right? That mother. So what you have again with this gold, you have mother, father, child, and which is the children right here, right? And here go your pan again. Origins of also Saint Valentines Day, your pan, the demon god, and which is also god of bestiality, right? The god of sexual perversions, which is also who they now call your Baphomet. So before it was Baphomet, it was this. It was this. Okay? And then it became this. So every time they conquered a certain part of the world, they added on another deity onto their conquerment as well to destroy the image of that of which they conquered also. So this is what we're looking at. And this flame right here represents the matriarch, the sun, that feminine essence, that feminine energy. That's what that represents. All right. So this right here is putting up the sign of the horned goat. It also represents Pan, right? The original Pan right here. The demon god, the Masonic god, and it also in also parts of the occult world represents to put a hex on, right? Or to put a spell on you. Okay, you see that 666, and it turns upside down, represents that 999. Also, break it down some more. It comes back to be 777. Break it back down again. It comes back to be 444. And when you continue to break it down, it drops back down into that 322, skull and bones. And that's the wrap, people. So that whole pan into that pan-European alliance, that pan-Africanism, that pan represents that Masonic demon, because Masons started all these organizations, right? And if y'all want to know what the goat represent in Masonry, There goes your Masonic goat. They riding the goat. Ride that goat. See again with the Masonic emblem when they ride in the goat. And here you go again. Ride in the goat. And this goat represents Pan. Okay? Ride in the goat. They are the antichrist. They are the anti everything righteous that we are. That is what they are. So you're looking for angels and demons. You're the angel and they're the demons walking around you. Yeah, they are at war with us. It's always been two sisters. Look, it was three sisters. This is how the myth goes. Three sisters fell on Earth. One sister killed the other. So Africa killed Antarctica, right? And Africa and America. Remember, all these land masses are named after females. Africa and America have been at war with each other, but because they are sisters, siblings war, but siblings also make up. So in the times when we make up, we traded, we bartered, we do all sorts of stuff with each other, right? And the times when we warred, we was at war. You see what I'm saying? So now it got to the point where one sibling says, you know what, we want to conquer the world. Let's get to that. Let's get to that. Let's get to that real quick. You know, this one sibling wanted to conquer the world. So y'all can see it for yourself, because you know what, y'all was just hearing like the little playback that I was doing, right? Once again, fair use, people. This is YouTube. This is a public forum, so you know this is public information. I am just critiquing a public video, right? And no, I do not give anyone permission to use the likeness of my voice in any of these videos. That they are those who are stalking my page, screenshooting my videos. You can critique my videos, but you can't use my voice. Here we go. One sister wanted to rule and dominate the world. Let's go. Listen to this. This is from Punk Ridge channel. Let's get into it. Let me unmute it for y'all.
One world, new world.
Damn, right there too.
Plan. America didn't happen by chance. All this was part of the divine plan that this would come about. The Moors then had a plan for a new world order. A one world, new world order. That was a Moorish plan originally.
Damn it, straight from the horse's mouth. What more do y'all want? Straight from the horse's mouth. Huh? They came up with the idea for the new world order. They were the ones trying to conquer the world, and still are to this very day, still trying to do it. Huh? They are. It's still trying to do it, which is why they're claiming to be Moorish American Aborigine. You can't be Moorish and American Aborigine. You can't be a Moor and call yourself an American Aborigine. Still trying to steal your title, still trying to steal your identity, still trying to steal your land. Still up to their same old Moorish old tricks. And this is why our movement is not taken as seriously as how it's supposed to be, because we have folks out there making a mockery of it. Folks out there making a mockery of it. You go call yourself Amuka Ara El and talk about, oh, I am American Aborigine and I am tucked on, autonomous to this land. I am indigenous to this land, and I am also a Moor. How? When every essence of a Moor means African. What they're trying to do is saying where they're indigenous to the entire planet and they can travel freely anywhere they can. No, you can't, because if that was the case, then you know what? The waters wouldn't divide us, because the waters divide us. The lands are still connected, but the waters divide us. The waters are the dividing borders. So we wouldn't be here and you wouldn't be there. And then if you were violating over there where you were, you came over here to violate, we wouldn't war with you to kick your ass back from over here, from off of here. Okay? That's a fact. So no, you ain't indigenous to these lands over here, because we did not want you here after we saw what you was about to do. Period. That's why you had to come back with your boys, with your Asians, your Hindus, your Pakistanis, your Saudis. Your Mauritanians, your Arabs, well, all of them to try to conquer over here. Y'all still didn't conquer. Y'all got your ass whooped. See, he's telling y'all, and who taught them the science? Hakeem, hold on.
The Europeans inherited that plan through the Masonic Lodge, which was the big.
And who created the Masonic Lodge? Who created the Masonic Lodge? They did. Listen.
By which we civilized and taught the Europeans. And so now when we hear them saying it, we ready to throw the baby with the bathwater, think that it's from them. No, we originally laid out that plan for one divine world order. And they merely inherited it. And when we fell off, they still espouse it. Even though many of them are not carrying out right exactly, because you got to understand that the European Masons who run this government, who run the international scene, that they're under certain oaths and obligations. There's certain things that they can't do. There's certain things that they can't speak on. They're functioning more or less.
And why they can't speak on it? Why they can't speak on it? Because these guys right here are still in a higher form of power than them. That's why they can't speak on it. Boom, boom, boom. They're just secret. All right? That's why a lot of them can't speak on it. Because these guys right here still have some form of control also. That's why. Okay? But they're united into taking us down. Fact. Whether they like each other or not. He's blurting all the secrets. See, they think we're stupid. They think we can't think for ourselves and piece this stuff together anymore. You understand? Because, mind you, they went through so much stuff to make us illiterate. They made up laws that we couldn't read. But they could read back then. The Moors was able to still read, right? Now, mind you, the Moors, that Moors Sundry Act, read it, right? And God damn it, it's a couple others. I can't off the top of my head, but it literally lets you know that they're citizens with privileges. It literally lets you know that they're citizens. They're not sovereigns. They're not indigenous. They're citizens. So when you claim to be a Moor, you claim to be a citizen. Fact. They just got special privilege more than the regular citizen because of Morocco right now standing today. That is why. Let's hear a little bit of the shickery that he's saying.
In a custodial capacity or fiduciary capacity, they will make custodians. When we were falling from power, we said, all right, you see this throne? We're going to make you custodians of this throne. You're going to become the keepers of the light, not the bearers of the light. We were the bearers of the light. We was one who was able to actually go out there and re-educate the whole human family.
See, and he stuttered too. Let's rip this shit apart before I go. You see this throne? We're going to make you the keepers of the light. So they put them, again, this is why these Native Americans also know so much of our history, because they knew so much of our history because they lived here for so long with us, also trading and bartering with us because they came as friends. And then they started showing their true colors after they learned everything about us and about our sacred knowledge and stuff, because we taught them. You understand? And because we taught them. So we are the bearers of the light. Not us, but our females, because when our females give birth to us, she bore the light. A new soul. Us. Man, woman, boy, girl. When it comes out of that stargate, the vagina. You understand? So these dudes learned a percentage of our knowledge, and when they were trying to conquer over here, when the conquering happened, they put folks like the Native Americans, who they call your Europeans, your Hindus, and so on and so, as guardians of our sacred temples. Guardians. Right? Until they rose back up into a predominant position of power to come back and take over. Not until we woke up, until they, right? And the goal was for them, because they had to work hard to keeping us asleep, which is why they branched off so many organizations within our community. Your Pan-Africanism, your Pan-Africans, your RBGs. Well, and I'm not trying to say this to disrespect you guys, but you have to look into the history of a lot of your founders as well, because some of these men just out of nowhere. You understand? Your Moorish Hebrews, because they got Moorish Hebrews. You can't be a Moor in the goddamn Hebrew. Hebrew is a language, and a Moor is not even from here. You see what I'm saying? We got to change the backwardsness of these teachings, right? So they focused on all these years, over 100 or something years, 200 years of being within our community, right? And watching us while they educated their child, right? And their people. You know, see, Drew Ali was murdered because Drew Ali wasn't going with none of this nonsense that he's speaking of. See, that's why they always say Drew Ali said, but they can't prove it. They can't prove Drew Ali said that. See, we can say Garvey said and go back to video recordings of Garvey, audio recordings of Garvey. They can't prove nothing. And if you don't have a video recording of Noble Drew speaking, I don't want to hear no goddamn audio. None. Which is a fact. Because they making this stuff up out their ass. You understand? So basically, they put all these organizations, your Nuwapians, everything taught you about Africa. And none of y'all sit here and act like it didn't teach y'all everything about Africa. It didn't teach you nothing about the Americas. Never taught you nothing about the Americas. Was to keep you dumb and docile and asleep and focused on Africa to idolize and worship them as your gods. Like they did the Caucasians, because the Caucasians was a new species of humans coming up, and they taught them everything that they knew, because again, they turned around and idolized them as gods, which is why in old pictures you'll see Moors sitting in thrones and the Caucasian female will always be at their side on her knees. You understand? There's an origin to everything, people. So this is what this is all about. They've been, you hear King Drop speak of the dragons, and you know Ronan Arthur. Ronan Arthur is King Arthur. King Arthur is known as Arthur Pendragon, right? Arthur Pendragon. What is a pen? A pen is a cage. A pen is a cage that you trap something in, okay? Well, I ain't gonna get too much into that right there. So that, you know what I mean, this is it. Let me just play out the rest for the fun of it.
The planet Earth, we made them keepers, which means that it's for so much they can speak on. You look at the degree structure. Water.
I'm telling you, they don't like me. They don't like me. They threaten my life almost every day, but I don't give a shit. They don't like me. They try to block all my content, right? They stop my videos from playing in certain countries. That's why sometimes you're going to start seeing me re-upload the same video again. Sometimes, you understand? Even and I'm doing a lot of lives now, so don't think that you missed the live. Sometimes it's just me re-uploading these things because I have to record and keep a database of these things because of what they're trying to do. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. So we're just gonna continue chipping away at these walls of deception and these walls of lies. And folks out there can get mad as they want. I don't care. The truth is the truth. Look, you can sit here and you can read all the books in the world and speak what you want to speak. You ain't gonna see me come on your platform. You know what I mean? And argue with you. Nah, that's on you. But if you don't like my platform or what's going on over here, take your ass up off of it. It won't bother you if you ain't seeing it. But obviously you're here for a reason. Let's go. Let's go.
Freezes at what? 32 degrees, right? Well, the highest they go is 32 degrees. Which means what? Their wisdom, their water, their wisdom is locked up. It's froze shut. They can't get out here teaching like we can. It's froze shut. And
they can't teach it like they can, but they can't teach it like we can. And when we are waking up and we are seeing all of this now, we know how to decipher the bullshit. So that's why they fear minds like mines and King Drop and Atontinus One and others out there. You know what I mean? Like that. That's why they fear these minds. You understand? Even Brother Kalinago. That's why they fear these minds. You see what I'm saying? It's about putting pieces together. That's why they fear these minds. All right. So, they talk about that water freezes, that all, bump all that. That's that Masonic talk that he's talking now. Bump all of that. Caucasians are masters of psychology because they taught them for hundreds of years. You understand? This is why we have to get back right. We have to pull our children out these school systems, right? And homeschooling, all you have to do is write a letter and come up with a schooling plan and send that letter into to your board of ed. Go down to your board of ed, see what their curriculum is, their criteria for homeschooling, and it's not that hard. They really don't make it hard for you. And you pull your child out these schools and you teach them the curriculum that they give you, but you add on the D brainwashing materials that you are also learning and that on there, and you let your child know. You don't let no one know that you know this, because these Jews and these folks for years had their own private schools that no one knew about, was teaching their children everything. We have to start doing the same thing. You understand? Because this is an intellectual war. This is a spiritual war. This is a cultural war. This is what they say, tribal war. We don't want no more of that. This is what this is. So y'all got to wake up. Y'all got to wake up, American Aborigines. Y'all got to wake up. Stop calling yourself black. Black by law means death. You understand? So you're saying that you're dead. Stop that. Stop doing that. Stop listening to these Pan-Africans and these RBGs when they tell you to call yourself by these titles. You call yourself that, you took yourself away from your inheritance. You understand? Start wearing your ancestral wear. Start wearing your raccoon tail. Start wearing your alligator foot. Start wearing your feathers. You don't want to wear the feathers. You wear the monocles, the necklaces around your neck. You let them know you're here. You know who you are. Start enforcing undrip and adrip. All right? Start enforcing these things on them. You understand? They're going to give you a fight, but stick with it. They have to submit to you. They have to. You understand? Chess, not checkers, people. They coming at you from all angles. You have to make counter moves at these folks now. All right? So don't follow these little gun clubs and have you marching on the streets showing your arsenal. So the next day you see these boys kicking down your door and stuff, confiscating your guns, and it takes you months to a year to even get back your guns. When you're getting them back, you're not getting back no ammo and no clip back with them. They're taking your clip because they remodify the clips to be smaller. So now you got to get a smaller clip. Huh? Come on, man. Start noticing these agent-ass organizations. Real talk. The Crips and Bloods came from them within our community. Them. But every time I try to dig into the origins of the creation of the Blood Gang, I always see a mofo with a fez on. Right? And the leader of them was also a Mason. Their leaders were Masons. You understand? Tookie Williams was a Mason. The leader of the Blood Gang is a Mason. Masonic. You understand? Let me just say allegedly. Allegedly. Yeah, you know what I mean, though. Allegedly. So, let's go. Let's play out the rest of his bull crap.
Maybe once in a while, one of them may be honored with the honorary 33rd degree, and then they throw it out a little more. Maybe.
Let me just say this, too. That 33rd degree is bullshit. Masonry only goes up to 3 degrees, all right? Only 3 degrees it goes up to, and then you have sub-degrees, sub-levels in between the 3. You understand? It's like they say, yo, you're going to the 3rd floor, but you got to go up 2 flights of steps before you reach the 2nd floor. You see what I'm saying? That's Masonry. Only 3 degrees. That's why when they say I'm a traveling man, 3rd degree, I could travel now. I'm a traveling man. All right? And within those 3 degrees, there are sub-degrees within those 3 degrees. All right.
They can say a few things, but not too much. You see what I'm saying? And so we put those Europeans in power when we fell from power, because at that time the Catholic Church, through the Franciscan and Dominican orders, was destroying everything that the Moors had.
How did the Catholic Church get over here? Who sailed the ships with Columbus over here? Who sailed the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria over here? It was them. They sailed those ships over here. Who went and who are the pirates of Africa that snitched out our location to the Europeans? It was them. Them. You understand? They told all of that. Who were in the Congos chopping off the Congolese arms and legs because the Congolese had the sacred writings of what they call the gods on their back? From when? From when? From when? And I gotta keep saying this because this to show the origins of how our nations, right? And it's not just the Israel, the nation of Israel, because yes, we had a nation here called Israel, but when they existed, there were 7 other nations, 6 other nations, making 7 nations, right? The 7 kingdoms, right? That's why when y'all be watching Game of Thrones, and we talk about the 7 kingdoms. And when they went over there, and on the markings of those tribesmen and women backs is the sacred writings of how we scattered them all over the earth to our fellow tribesmen and women all over the earth. And that's what you saw the Germans, them going down, hunting down. That's what they were hunting down. The language of the gods. The signs, the symbols. And that's where you saw the Nazi army got the vulture from, and then the sun symbol with the swastika into it as well, because when they went up and ran up on the Congolese, that's what was imprinted on the backs of the females. It wasn't on the men, it was on the backs of the females. You understand? The matriarch. Y'all gotta understand. This shit is deep, people. Y'all think this ain't deep? Yo, this shit is so deep.
Built up. All the civilization, all the high science that we had developed and cultivated and built up, they was destroying on a global level. And so we put the Europeans in power, races in power. We refer to them as the mystic Turks, or chief protectors of the sacred shrine. The shrine of what? The shrine of more science, of more civilization that we had cultivated for so long. We put them there in charge of it. And so they're custodians. And it sometimes happens that custodians forget their place and they start to think that they're the ones. But we got to remind them, y'all not the ones. Y'all the custodians. Y'all was the hold and preserve it until we wake back up and then get this thing back on its original divine plan. So we are to convey to America that we're not about overthrowing this. No. As a matter of fact,
let me show y'all a trick too, right? And I hear you, Red Coyote Bay, but it's not all Africans that was selling every, you know what I mean? Because here's another trick. Because which really rich Africans, because since they divided everything today, right? They have Africa, India, China, Europe, right? We know the folks in Nigeria come from Portugal. The Nigerians are the original Portuguese that migrated up into Nigeria. You understand? So if we're going to say Africans, then we have to put stuff back in its proper construct and say, well, these Nigerians, which are selling these not only the Congolese still today, right, but their neighboring brothers and sisters into slavery into Libya right now, because that's them that's doing it, right? They're the original Portuguese from Portugal. That's them, right? That's them. So then in today's layman's term, then technically in today's term, then they're not Africans, they're Portuguese. Just saying.
About getting this thing back function on its original divine purpose. Because if we don't, it's going to be destroyed. As you see what's happening right now on a global level. America's going down a path now of self-destruction. And if we don't wake up and first save ourselves, and then in turn save America, it's going to be all over with.
If they don't wake up, they've been woke. They weren't asleep. They've been woke. They've been hiding in our communities for years. Like I said, where were you when I was in elementary school? Where were you when I was in junior high school? Where was you when I was in college, in high school? I'm taking college classes right now. Where are you? I don't see none of y'all nowhere. Get out of here with that dumb stuff. I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear none of that. You stayed hidden and you taught your Caucasian brothers and sisters, your Asian brothers and sisters, and you taught your children. And that's what y'all did. And then y'all picked and choose who would come into the fold. And now that we're in the age of awakening full blast, y'all came out in full blast. All up on so-and-so TV, right? Up in Harlem on so-and-so platforms and network. Y'all was everywhere. Never seen so much feds before in my life. Y'all was everywhere, all throughout New York City, all throughout Chicago, huh? All throughout LA, all throughout Detroit. Y'all was everywhere. Y'all became popped up out of nowhere. Like spring chicken. Who are y'all? Where y'all came from? Huh? To be real, you was nowhere. Y'all never was sleeping. Y'all been awoke. You put us to sleep. So now that we are waking up, you guys popped up now out of nowhere to try to put us in a state of confusion. We ain't Moors. We ain't Murs. We ain't those Moabites. We ain't them. You understand? We are American Aborigines. They're not even Moors. They're Saracens. Their job is to keep us in a state of confusion. I'm an American Aborigine and a Moor. How? How? Negro, how? How? When they talk about treaties with the Moors, those treaties are null and void because this is not their land. And those treaties are forged. So those treaties don't stand, which is why you see them get violated every now and then on social media. And you go see videos, tons of videos on YouTube of them still getting violated. And they're wondering why. Can't call yourself an American Aborigine and a Moor at the same time. You're saying you're a dual citizen. Cut the bullshit. That's what that is. You're sitting here telling folks you can't call yourself Black and African American, but you're using the word Moor, which means all those things. And then calling yourself American Aborigine at the same time. Knowing the etymology of the word Moor literally means African, Negro, Black, African American, Moor man, Moor, dark skin, dirty, all those things, right? So you can't be a Moor and an American Aborigine because now you took the American Aborigine title, right, status, and turned it into a form of a citizenship because a Moor is a citizen. That's all that is. That's all that is. All right. So, I just wanted to throw in that little bonus tidbit right there. So I spent a little longer than what I was supposed to, but with that being said, peace, love, light. But also before I go, let me just say this: if you're not receiving notifications, what I had to do for some of the channels that I follow, and I got to do it for the rest, I had to unsub, resub, and hit that notification bell. All right. And when you hit the notification bell, watch it before you just click off, because what they'll do is they'll stall. They'll stall for a few seconds to not let it go. And then if you don't see it click, you're gonna have to click it again, sometimes 3 times. But don't rush it. Don't go click, 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 and wait a little bit, like 2-3 seconds to see what happens. All right, that's what they're doing. So that's why a lot of folks ain't getting my notifications, and I'm not getting a lot of folks' notifications as well. So folks who usually see me in their chat and stuff supporting their platform, I'm just generally not getting the notifications, family. All right. So again, with that being said, peace, love, light, bliss to you all. Travel safe wherever in the world you are. Have a good night. Have a good day. We ain't gonna say morning because we ain't morning, right? And have a good afternoon. All right. Much love to you all. All right. Also, folks, don't forget we are trying to get enough of a support so that we could get the aquaponics thing up and running in full force. But like I said, with where the GoFundMe's at right now, we will still make it work. You know what I mean? So within the next couple weeks, we will start putting things together, formulating the greenhouse and so on and so, just to make, just to show you guys, like, look, it can be done. We can do it. You see what I'm saying? We go from one house at a time, one community at a time. If folks, even when we get it up, if there are folks out there that has property and you guys want aquaponics and so on and so put up in in your backyards or around your homes or whatever, our brothers and stuff, after we show y'all that we can do it, our brothers and stuff would come out there and put one up for you guys. All right. So let's get it. Let's do this. We gotta empower and better each other. All right. We are not savages. We are humans. We're human beings. Okay. And we have to love and respect each other as well. So peace, love, and light.